Me 22. Gender studies major at a liberal arts college. Chloe.jpg full-time feminist, part-time barista. Professional tweeter. My thesis is on the endemic misogyny of single men in the digital age. Basically, I argue that most men are single because they're secretly, or not so secretly, awful. They're basement dwelling, porn addicted, emotionally stunted man children who can't handle a strong, independent woman. My professor, a woman with a purple pixie cut named Dr. Anya Sharma, loves it. She says it's brave and unflinching. My friends, all various shades of non-binary and perpetually outraged, call me a queen. Life is good. My worldview is solid. My bubble is secure. I have 20,000 followers on Twitter who retweet my hot takes like all men are trash, some are recyclable, and if he's single, it's a red flag, not an opportunity. One day, I'm in the campus coffee shop, doom scrolling through Tinder for research, swiping left on an endless sea of guys holding fish, guys in MAGA hats, guys who list the Joe Rogan Experience as their favorite podcast. See, Professor, my thesis writes itself. My friend Xylia, they slash them, majoring in oppression studies, peers over my shoulder. Look at them, Xylia says, sipping their oat milk lavender latte. So much unexamined privilege in one app. I know, right, I say, it's a cesspool. I need a shower after 5 minutes on here. You should do a deep dive, they suggest, like actual field work. Go on dates with these guys and document the horror. It would be amazing for your thesis. The idea is both repulsive and intriguing. A part of me, the part that craves validation and academic glory, sparks to life. The other part, the part that has to actually sit opposite these troglodytes, shudders, but the academic part wins. Project antagonism is a go. The mission, to go on a series of dates with men who represent the archetypes of the undateable, and to meticulously document their awfulness. My hypothesis, each one will prove in his own unique way the central thesis of my work. I will be the Jane Goodall of toxic masculinity. First, I need a subject, a real specimen. I create a new Tinder profile. No pictures of me at protests, no mention of my major, just a basic profile. Call it Project Normie. I match with a guy named Mike, 25. His profile is a goldmine of red flags. One picture of him in a poorly lit room, wearing a stained hoodie, headphones around his neck. You can almost smell the stale pizza. His bio, NEET, aspiring streamer. I like video, anime, and staying inside. 6 zone, since apparently that matters. NEET, not in education, employment, or training. The absolute pinnacle of the manchild archetype. Perfect. We chat for a bit. His texts are short, grammatically lazy. Me, hey, what's up? Mike, NM, just chillin'. Me, cool, what do you like to do for fun? Mike, game. It's like talking to a brick wall. A lazy, uninspired brick wall. I suggest we meet up. He seems surprised but agrees. He suggests a local comic book store. Of course he does. This is going to be painfully easy. D-Day, I put on my approachable girl costume. A floral dress, a bit of makeup. I want him to be comfortable, to let his true self shine through in all its awfulness. I walk into the comic shop. It smells of old paper and anxiety. I see him in the corner, looking at Funko Pops. He's taller than I expected, but otherwise he's exactly as advertised. He's wearing the same hoodie from his profile picture. Oh God, I hope it's been washed. He sees me and gives a small, awkward wave. Hey, I say, forcing a smile. Chloe, Mike, he mumbles, not making eye contact. We wander around the store for a bit. The silence is deafening. I try to start a conversation. So, you're into comics? I ask, gesturing to the walls of colorful books. Yeah, he says, picking up a Batman figure. Mostly manga now. Oh, cool, any favorites? Berserk. Another long, awkward silence. My internal monologue is already writing the chapter for my thesis. Subject A, Mike, displayed a profound lack of social skills, indicative of a life lived primarily through screens. His conversational abilities were stunted, limited to monosyllabic answers that placed the entire burden of social interaction on his female companion. This is a classic tactic of passive-aggressive misogyny, forcing the woman to perform emotional labor. I decide to press a little, to really get the data I need. So your profile says you're a NEET, I ask, trying to sound casual. He flinches just a little, puts the Batman figure back on the shelf. Yeah, he says, his voice quiet. What's that like? I ask. I mean, what do you do all day? Here it comes. The confession of a lazy, degenerate lifestyle. I get my phone ready to take notes in the bathroom. He hesitates for a long time. He looks at the floor, at the ceiling, anywhere but at me. I take care of my mom, he says finally. Wait, what? That's not in the script. I'm taken aback. Oh, is she sick? He nods. Miss It's gotten pretty bad the last few years. She's bedridden. He finally looks at me, and for the first time I see something other than social awkwardness in his eyes. There's a deep, profound exhaustion. She was a nurse, he continues, his voice a little stronger now. Worked double shifts my whole life to raise me and my sister. When she got diagnosed, my sister, she has a family, a career. She lives in another state. So, he shrugs, it's just me. My brain short circuits. Thesis CXC has encountered a fatal error. So, the streaming, the gaming, I ask, my voice barely a whisper. It's what I do at night, he says, after she's asleep. It's the only time I have for myself. I try to make a little money from it, but it's not much. The disability checks, they don't cover everything. He tells me about his daily routine. Waking up at 6 a.m. to help his mom with her morning routine. Changing her, bathing her, feeding her. The endless cycle of medications, doctor's appointments, physical therapy. The crushing weight of the medical bills. The loneliness. I don't get out much, he says with a sad smile. This is the first date I've been on in 3 years, I think. I just put that NEET thing in my bio because it's easier than explaining all this. It weeds people out. It certainly weeded me in, but for all the wrong reasons. We stand there in silence for a minute. I feel like the world's biggest asshole. My carefully constructed archetype, the lazy, basement-dwelling man-child, has just been obliterated by a reality that is far more complex and heartbreaking than my simplistic ideology could ever accommodate. He's not single because he's a misogynist. He's single because he's a caregiver. He's single because he sacrificed his own life to care for the woman who gave him his. I buy a comic just to have an excuse to leave. I tell him it was nice to meet him. You too, he says, and he sounds like he means it. I walk out of the store and take a deep breath of the cool evening air. My thesis is in ruins, and for some reason I don't care. I go home and delete the first chapter of my thesis. Project Antagonism needs a new subject, a different archetype. This time I'm going for the gym bro, the arrogant, muscle-bound peacock. His name is Chad. No, seriously. His name is Chad. His profile is a shrine to his own biceps. Mirror selfies at the gym, pictures of him on a boat with a beer, a photo of his ridiculously expensive car. His bio: work hard, play harder. Just looking for a good time. No drama. 5'11", 6 on a good day. He messages me first. Hey beautiful, you work out. Ugh, we agree to meet at a trendy, overpriced smoothie bar. He probably owns stock in the place. I prepare myself for an evening of relentless flexing, stories about his gains, and thinly veiled insults about my own body. I walk in and see him at a table. He's even bigger in person. A mountain of muscle in a tight-fitting V-neck shirt. He stands up to greet me. Chloe, right, you look even better than your pictures. He winks. I fight the urge to roll my eyes into the back of my skull. The conversation is exactly as I expected. He talks about his workout routine, his diet, his car, his promotion at his dad's company. It's a masterclass in male narcissism. My thesis is back on track. But then something weird happens. He asks me about myself, and he actually listens. I tell him about my studies, bracing myself for a condescending remark about useless degrees. Instead, he says, "That's cool. So you're like super smart." I notice he has a slight stutter. It's barely perceptible, but it's there. He tries to cover it up by talking fast and loud. I decide to poke the bear. So what's with all this? I ask, gesturing to his massive arms. He looks confused. What do you mean? The muscles, the gym selfies. It seems a little performative. I'm expecting him to get defensive, to call me a hater. Instead, he looks down at his smoothie. A shadow passes over his face. I used to be fat, he says quietly. Come again. Like, really fat. 300 pounds in high school. They called me Chad the Impaler because of how my stomach hung over my belt. He pulls out his phone and shows me a picture. It's him, but it's not him. A round-faced, sad-eyed kid with a pained smile. I got bullied, he says. Relentlessly, every single day. It was hell. He tells me about the loneliness, the depression, the self-hatred. He started going to the gym in college. It was his escape. It was the one thing he could control. The more weight I lost, the more muscle I gained, the more people started treating me differently, he says. Girls who wouldn't have looked at me twice started talking to me. Guys who used to push me in the halls wanted to be my friend. He looks at me, and his eyes are filled with a vulnerability that is completely at odds with his hypermasculine exterior. This, he says, gesturing to his body, this is my armor. It's the only way I know how to feel safe. He tells me he's still that fat kid on the inside, terrified that if he misses a workout, if he eats a carb, it will all come back. I'm single because I'm a mess, he says with a self-deprecating laugh. I have no idea how to have a normal relationship. I don't know how to trust anyone. I'm always waiting for them to see the fat kid I used to be and run away. My arrogant peacock is a scared little boy in a superhero costume. My thesis is not just in ruins, it's a smoldering crater. These men, these archetypes of toxic masculinity, they're not villains. They're just people with stories, with pain. We finish our smoothies. He walks me to my car. Hey, he says, I know I probably came on a little strong. I'm sorry, I'm not good at this. It's okay, I say, I get it. And I do, I really do. I drive home in a daze. My entire worldview has been shaken to its core. My thesis, the foundation of my academic career, is built on a lie. A simplistic, two-dimensional caricature of men that ignores the complex realities of their lives. I think about Mike, the caregiver. I think about Chad, the formerly obese kid. Who else have I misjudged? I decide to do one more date, one more archetype, the quiet nerd. I find him on a niche dating app for geeks and gamers. His name is David, 30. His profile picture is him at a table, surrounded by what looks like a tiny army of plastic figurines. He's smiling, a genuine, unself-conscious smile. His bio is long and detailed. He talks about his love for Warhammer 40,000, his job as a software engineer, his 2 cats, and his passion for baking. He seems nice, almost too nice. We agree to meet at a quiet pub. He's there when I arrive, sitting in a booth, reading a book. He's normal. He's wearing a button-down shirt and jeans. He has kind eyes. He stands up to shake my hand. Chloe, it's great to meet you. The conversation flows easily. He's smart, he's funny, he's passionate about his hobbies. He tells me about the intricate lore of Warhammer 40,000, and instead of being boring, it's fascinating. He talks about it with such joy and enthusiasm that I can't help but be drawn in. He asks me about my studies, and he doesn't just listen, he engages. He asks thoughtful questions. He challenges my assumptions in a way that is respectful and stimulating. This is a good date, a really good date. I'm starting to wonder why a guy like him is single. He's a catch. So I ask him. You seem like a great guy, I say. I'm surprised you're single. He sighs, takes a sip of his beer. It's the plastic army men, isn't it? He says with a wry smile. No, not at all, I say, maybe a little too quickly. I think it's cool. You're one of the few, he says. I've been on dates where I've mentioned my hobby and I've seen the light just go out in their eyes. They get this look on their face like they've just smelled something bad. He tells me about a woman he dated for a few months. He really liked her. One day she came over to his apartment and saw his collection of miniatures. She called them toys, he says, and I can hear the hurt in his voice. She said it was childish and weird. She told me I had to choose between her and the hobby. What did you do? I ask. I chose the hobby, he says without hesitation. It's not just a hobby. It's my passion. It's my community. It's a part of who I am, and I'm not going to give that up for someone who doesn't respect me. He looks at me. I'd rather be single than be with someone who wants to change me, he says. I'm happy with who I am. I have a good job, I have good friends, I have my cats, I have my hobbies. A relationship should be a wonderful addition to that, not a replacement for it. And that's when it hits me. The final fatal blow to my thesis. He's not single because there's something wrong with him. He's single because he's emotionally healthy. He's single because he has standards. He's single because he has a life that he loves, and he's not willing to compromise his happiness for the sake of being in a relationship. He's not a victim. He's not a monster. He's just a man, a good man. The date ends. He walks me to the bus stop. I had a really nice time, he says. Me too, I say, and I mean it. He asks for a second date. I say yes. I go home and I don't just delete my thesis. I burn it. I perform a small, symbolic ceremony in my backyard. I watch the flames consume the pages of my arrogant, ignorant assumptions. The next day, I go to Dr. Sharma's office. I tell her I'm changing my thesis topic. To what? She asks, her purple eyebrows raised. I don't know yet, I say, but it's going to be something better, something. True. I walk out of her office and feel a sense of freedom I haven't felt in years. My bubble has been burst. My worldview has been shattered. And it's the best thing that's ever happened to me. I'm still a feminist. But my feminism is different now. It's more compassionate, more nuanced, more human. I realize that the world is not a simple binary of oppressed and oppressor. It's a complex tapestry of individual stories, individual struggles, individual joys. And men, they're not the enemy. They're just the other half of the story, and I'm finally ready to listen. P.S. David and I have been dating for 6 months now. He's teaching me how to paint miniatures. I'm terrible at it, but I love it. He's the kindest, most supportive partner I've ever had. My friends don't get it. Xylia says I have internalized misogyny. I don't care. I'm happy. And for the first time in a long time, I'm not angry. Turns out, men aren't single because they're trash. Some of them are single because they're caregivers. Some of them are single because they're healing from old wounds. And some of them are single because they're waiting for someone who's worth giving up their happy, fulfilling single life for. My feminism has been updated, and my life is so much better for it.